Hey, how's it going today, everybody? My name is Will Trent with the Filmmaker's Code, and today we're talking about set positions. There are hundreds of different set positions that you've probably seen in the credits of movies, which of course we're not going to be going through every single one in this video, but we're going to go over the main ones in order for you to understand what they do and hopefully help you choose which role that you'd like to take. All right, ready? Here we go. Number one, the director. The director is who you've all heard of. These are the people who are the heads of movies. However, we do need to realize there is a little bit more to this definition. A lot of beginner filmmakers tend to say that they want to be directors, but they don't exactly know what that entirely entails. A director's job is to generally lead the creative direction of the story. In order for somebody to be a director, they'd have to be well versed in all the different departments of production in order to help them be able to take the creative direction that they want. We've seen hundreds and hundreds of amateur film sets where the director didn't understand the aspects of production, which obviously led to the film's downfall. Experienced directors have a deep understanding of multiple different departments in a film production, which helps them take full creative control over their sets. For example, if I'm gonna direct a film, I'm gonna be looking into several different aspects before we even set foot on the set. Things like camera choices, lens choices, formats, aspect ratios, colors, lighting styles, performances and actors, art style, and so many more. If you don't understand at least several of these aspects, it's going to be fairly difficult for you to direct your films. This is why we created this course for you in the first place, so you can either master multiple different departments of film for you to be able to direct your own movies, or niche down into one of the departments of filmmaking so you can hone your skills. At the same time, one of the biggest jobs a director has is to direct actors. It's literally in their name. To give directions to the actors to get the performance that they want. So yes, being a director is a lot of work, so understand it's not just simply saying somebody's in charge of the film. It's a deep understanding of multiple aspects of film to guide the creative and technical aspects of production. Moving on to number two, the producer. The producer is honestly a slightly harder job than a director, considering they handle multiple things both inside and outside of the production of the film. So for a lot of us indie filmmakers, we are the directors and the producers of our films, as we don't just handle the creative aspects, but also the financial and technical aspects of our productions. Producers will have to be out there auditioning actors, handling on-set management, and general logistics. And at the same time, you've probably heard of the executive producer. They do pretty much the same thing that a producer does, but generally outside the set, such as negotiating contracts, gathering a budget, talking to studios, etc. Now, as an indie filmmaker, this is probably the position that you fit in the most because, like I said, you are handling pretty much every single technical aspect of your production right now. Overall, a producer handles everything logistics-wise and technical-wise off and on the set. All right, number three, the director of photography. The director of photography, or the DP, is who is in charge of the picture or the look of the film cinematography-wise. The DP has extensive experience in cameras and cinematography. They understand camera movement, lens choice, composition, all things camera, and they use their skills to visually tell the story that was written down on paper. In a lot of amateur and indie films, an experienced DP is extremely sought after, considering not a lot of amateur filmmakers want to learn the technicals of cinematography to visually tell their stories well. Personally, I have niched down into cinematography and camera work when it comes to indie film production. In order to be a DP, of course, you need to understand all things camera, which we have a full section for in the camera department section. Number four, camera ops. This one's pretty obvious. The cam ops are the people who operate the cameras. They capture the shots that were thought up by the DP. And you may be asking yourself right now, does the DP ever touch cameras? Well, of course, though it does depend on the set that you're working on. The DP may be very hands-on and is a camera operator themselves, or they may be completely hands-off and only watches the monitors in Video Village while the cam ops do all the heavy camera work. Personally, I like working with the camera and I like being hands-on, mainly because I have trust issues and I don't always trust somebody else can do the job for me. That's something for you to decide, whether or not you trust somebody else to capture the image for you and you just watch the monitors, or if you want to be hands-on with your camera, capturing the shot yourself. Moving on to number five, assistant cameras, or ACs. There are two assistant camera positions, the first AC and the second AC, and they both had different jobs. First AC's main job is to pull focus. Yes, there is a full job for pulling focus because in higher end cinema cameras, autofocus does not exist. You'll see them with an AC remote, which is attached to motors on the camera that control the focus, zoom, and aperture rings. They make sure to keep the subject sharp and in focus by measuring the distance for the camera to the talent and the subjects. They'll also sometimes operate run stop or start and stop recording, and will even change focal lengths, apertures, and camera settings. First ACs are generally the ones to set the camera settings in order to properly expose each shot. This is why a higher end cinema camera tends to have more buttons and functions on one side than the other, because one side of the camera is for the first AC to dial in the settings, while the other side is very basic and simple for the cam op to do basic functions like run stop and quick adjustments. On the other hand, we have the second AC. The second AC works with the first AC to get focus distances and may occasionally take the first AC's place to set the camera settings if needed. Though the most important job for a second AC is to read and hit the slate. They're always on their toes, marking the slate and hopping in and out to mark the shots. And we have a whole video on how to slate in the camera department section. All right, number 6, gaffers. The gaffers are the people who handle all things lighting and electrical. They'll work with the DP to achieve the intended lighting looks. They'll go in and light the shot depending on the camera setup before the lead actors step in. They understand how to bend and shape light in order to make each shot look visually appealing. And you can learn all things gaffing in the gaffing and lighting section. Hand in hand with the gaffers, they're also accompanied by the best boy. Best boy is the gaffer's right-hand man. They both understand lighting and how to achieve what the DP wants. Without a best boy, all the work falls back onto the gaffers, so these two people need to work hand in hand with each other. All right, number 7, first and second team. First team is the technical term for lead actors. You always hear on a bigger film set, can we invite first team out here? Which just means that the scene is ready for the lead actors to come in and start doing their thing. Second team is the stand-ins, which are the people who step in and sit in place of the lead actors for reference whenever the cameras aren't rolling and they need to set up the shot. These people are generally the same height as the lead actors, so that way the cameras don't have to tilt up or down and lights don't need to be adjusted for whenever the first team steps in. All right, number 8. The grips. The main job of a grip is to carry big pieces of gear and equipment. They're the ones who load and unload the gear from the trucks. Of course, in order to be a grip, you need to be in shape, which is something that I'm not, because you are going to be lifting heavy pieces of equipment a lot, such as the gigantic stands for gaffers, carrying dollies, giant frames, setting dolly tracks, etc. So if you're looking to be a grip, definitely get to the gym and start bulking up. Number 9, sound mixers. These people are responsible for all audio that is captured on set. They'll be the ones who are in charge of making sure all audio levels are good while rolling and will capture room tone, dialogue, sound effects, etc. They're also the one to put the lav mics on actors if needed, along with boom operators, which again is obvious what they do. They hold the boom mics wherever they need it to be. But overall, sound mixers are in charge of capturing crisp and clean audio on set. Check out more in the sound department section. And finally, number 10, the production assistants, or PAs. These people are the ones who handle the smaller, mundane tasks of a film set. They may handle background extras, carry smaller boxes of things in certain areas, run coffee, etc. This is an entry-level job for bigger film sets. And yes, these people are pretty much the guinea pigs of production. But in terms of how well you're treated, that does depend on the set that you work on. Some sets that I've been on didn't treat me too well, and some treated me really well. However, don't let this uncertainty stop you from getting a job as a set PA if you get the opportunity to be one on a bigger film set. You get paid to learn. PAs are invaluable. Although they do mundane tasks and the pay is lower, you get to rub elbows with those who are in the departments that you want to be in, which may lead you to being something bigger in production. Alright, so that's it for set positions. Now you can see that there are tons of jobs that you can do on a film set, and we've only scratched the surface. That isn't even close to all the positions that you can work. So now you can prove all the naysayers wrong who always scream, "There are no jobs in the film industry for you!" You can now choose which departments you want to be a part of, and maybe niche down into when you're making your indie films, or you can master all of them and be able to direct your own films. And if you're looking to learn more about technically writing, shooting, editing, and how to actually create better indie films and you're hesitant about film school, be sure to check out our free 30-minute filmmaking training video. Link in the top right corner and in the description. But other than that, that's all we got for set positions. And as always, if you have any more questions, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.